Why do we forget the details of a happy ending? But then we can't stop thinking about the heartbreaking ones. We all have that one film that stuck with us. Maybe it was La La Land or Requiem for a Dream. Maybe it was the end of a love story that you hoped would work out, or a character's final moments that you still replay in your head. There's a reason we remember these endings. It's not just because they're sad, it's that they're psychologically engineered to linger. Research shows that negative, emotionally intense experiences are more memorable than neutral or happy ones. It's called negativity bias. Our brains are wired to pay closer attention to pain, fear, or loss. So when we watch something that's heartbreaking, our stress hormones kick in. A devastating breakup or a loss on screen doesn't just hurt, it gets stored more deeply. This is where the peak end rule comes in. We tend to remember experience by its most intense moment and its ending. So when a film delivers an emotional punch and ends on that note, it doesn't fade, it echoes. Happy endings feel good, but tragic ones burn themselves into our memories. There's also a psychological itch that sad movies leave behind. As humans, we crave resolution, a tidy ending that gives us closure, a kind of mental exhale. But tragic or ambiguous endings give us this discomfort. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. It's where unfinished stories create tension in the mind. We keep thinking about them, trying to make sense of what wasn't resolved. So when the film leaves questions hanging, like the spinning top in Inception, we don't forget. We revisit and we theorize. And sad films often do the same. They don't give us the peace that we're wanting, they give us thought. And that makes them last. I mean, let's look at La La Land. It sets up the Hollywood classic fantasy. A musical romance, charming leads, gorgeous colours. We're led to expect a happily ever after, but the ending twists. Me and Sebastian don't reunite. Instead, we get a dream montage of the life they could have had, followed by the reality. They part ways forever. That emotional bait and switch is no accident. It hurts not because it's cruel, but because it's true. Love doesn't always conquer all, and sometimes it fades. And then if we look at Requiem for a Dream, Aronofsky doesn't even give you space to hope. He builds characters chasing their dreams, then rips them apart. No redemption, no catharsis. Only addiction, isolation, and psychological collapse. The editing is relentless. The soundtrack drills into your brain, and by the time it ends, you're emotionally drained. That exhaustion becomes a memory you carry. Another reason that tragic stories cut so deep is that we're not just watching the characters, we're bonding with them. Research on parasocial relationships shows that we often form one-sided emotional connections with fictional people. We root for them, feel close to them, and even mourn their losses. So when a film takes away what we've grown attached to, it can feel personal. And because that emotional discomfort is high, our brains take notice. We're more likely to encode these feelings subconsciously. In other words, when we care, we remember. And when a story hurts, we remember even more. This isn't just about La La Land or Requiem for a Dream. Films like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Manchester by the Sea, Blue Valentine, Brokeback Mountain, Her, they all build up emotional intimacy, then pull it away. They play with our memory, loss, and absence of closure, and then leave us thinking, sometimes for years. I mean, in Blue Valentine, we see both the sweetness and a breakdown of a marriage. That love feels real because we've seen it bloom. And the contrast between the joy and despair makes it harder. Sad endings force us to replay the story, to ask what if, to wonder why did it end that way. That active engagement makes the narrative feel alive, even after the credits roll. So why do tragic films stay with us? Because they activate every layer of emotional processing. They trigger biological memory systems, they resist closure, and they make us feel like we lost something real. And that keeps us mentally engaged. Like I said before, happy endings tie things up, but tragic ones leave things open. And open stories don't fade. They haunt, they echo, and they become part of how we think. In the end, maybe sad films don't hurt us. Maybe they just show us something we already know. That not every story ends the way we want. But it doesn't make it any less worth remembering.